Hello everyone. In this video, I will show you how you can add built-in states into your objects in Articulate Storyline. So Storyline has 6 built-in states, and those states allow you to change the appearance of your objects based on their states. So on this slide, I've added those 6 states into those 6 objects, and I will show you how they perform separately. The first one is the normal state. So this is the normal appearance of the object that you have on your slide. The hover state, on the other hand, will show when the user hovers over the object. And once you hover away, it will go back to the normal state. The down state will show for as long as the user is clicking on the object. So now I'm clicking and holding. Once I let go, it will go back to the normal state. The visited state will show when the user visits or views this object. So here I'll click. It indicates that this object has already been viewed or visited, and it will never go back to the normal state. The selected state, on the other hand, will show only when the user is selecting that particular object. So here I'll click. Now it's selected, and if I click again, it will go back to the normal state. That's the main difference between visited and selected. Visited will never go back to normal state, while selected would go back to normal state if you deselect it. And finally, the disabled state indicates that this object is disabled and it will prevent the user from clicking on the object. Okay, so now let's find out how you can add these states into your objects in Storyline. So I will go to this new slide. I will insert a shape. And then you'll go to the States tab here, right next to the timeline. And then you will click on Edit State. And then you will click on New State. And you will have the list of all the built-in states. So I'll choose hover, add, and then I will change the appearance of this state. So you just have to make sure that the hover state here is selected and not the normal state. And then you go and format. I'll change the color. Let's make it purple. Okay. And from here, you can add all the other states. Here you have multiple options. You can duplicate the current state. So I can duplicate the hover state and I'll add the down state now. And I will add something else to the down state. For example, they usually add an outline, a thick one. Okay. And from here, you can also delete the state, the selected one. You can reset it so it goes back to the normal state, and you can also rename it. I will add the visited state now. And I will make it red. Okay, so let's see how these states will work together. That's the normal state. When I hover, it turns purple. That's the hover state. When I click, it will show the outline. That's the down state. And finally, when I let go and hover away from the object, it will show the visited state. Now, if I hover again on this object, it will still show the hover state. And if I click, it will still show the down state. However, it will never go back to the normal state because we have added the visited state, indicating that we have already clicked on this object and it has already been visited. So that's how you add states into your objects. And there are so many ways to play around with those states. Remember that you can add these states into any type of object. I will show you samples here. For example, we have a character and we have a picture. I've added hover states into each one of these and I will show you how it will show. Here you go. That's the hover state for the picture, and that's the hover state for the character. So that is it from my side today. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next time.